Of course, we want our flies to be effective at catching fish, but we also like for them to be quick and easy to tie and very durable in the water. And this little fly checks all of those boxes. Other than the hook and the lead-free wire, it only uses Senyo laser dub. So we call it the laser booger. It is a great little small streamer, woolly booger-like pattern that is both durable and very quick and easy to tie. For a hook, I'm using a Firehole Sticks 3X long barbless streamer hook. The Firehole Sticks 839. Pretty much any 3X long hook will work just fine. To add a bit of weight and to help the fly get down, I'm using 12 turns of 025 lead-free wire. And we want to wrap it to just behind the hook eye, leaving about a hook gap. And after completing our wraps, we break off the tag ends with our thumbnail and push the wire together to make a nice tight bundle. Now for thread today, I'm using UTC 140 denier in light olive. And I want to start that thread near the center of my lead wraps, snip off the tag end, and notice I've left about a hook eye length behind the hook eye. This gives us room to form our head. Wrapping our thread to the rear of the lead, we want to wrap the hook shank to about the bend of the hook, which is just behind where the barb would be on this particular hook. Now, as I said earlier, the only material for this fly is Senyo's laser dub, and today I'm using light olive. Of course, you can use any color you like. And I take a bunch that, when twisted, is about the size of a matchstick or slightly smaller. And I want to tie it in with a few loose wraps and then tighten those wraps just behind the lead eye. And then I pull the front half of the laser dub over and tie it in just behind our lead wraps. And you can see it can be a little slippery. So just grab that laser dub and make a few tight wraps. Now once my tail is tied in, you notice it's a bit long and shaggy. So the nice thing about laser dub is we can actually take a pair of scissors and just cut this to about a hook shank length. And to get rid of that cut off look, we can simply pick it out with our thumbnail, and now it gives it a much more natural taper at the rear. To create the body of the fly, we're going to use a dubbing loop. So we move our thread back to the tail's tie-in point, and we pull out a fairly long length of thread and wrap it around our finger, and we want about a 5-inch dubbing loop. And we take a couple of wraps of thread around the hook shank, and then to close the loop, a couple of wraps around the loop itself, and then let's wrap our thread forward to just behind the hook eye. Now we insert our dubbing whorl into the dubbing loop, and still leaving our finger in, we insert a very wispy portion of laser dub. Now notice that the fibers are running parallel to the thread and not crossways like we typically do with a dubbing loop. So we give the thread a quick twist, and this dubbing loop's only about 3 to 3.5 inches long, and a few twists are just fine. And then we can take our dubbing brush and kind of pick it out. Notice I'm going in one direction. This helps move all the dubbing and even it out toward the hook itself. So just a few picks are just fine. I'm going to use the rotary function of my vise to wrap this all the way forward to just behind the hook eye, just in front of the lead wire. That looks about right. Oh, let's do one more wrap. And we take a couple of loops of thread, a couple of turns of thread to tie that off, and we snip off the remaining portion of our dubbing loop. And oops, lost that loop of thread, but that's good. With our finger and thumb, pull back on the dubbing to expose the head, and let's create a small thread head here. Get our whip finish tool, and let's give it a 4 or 5 turn whip finish. Snip off that tag end. And even though our body looks pretty good, pretty buggy, we want to pick it out a little more. And I use a gun cleaning brush to do that. And so we just pick all sides out. We want a body that's just a bit narrower than our tail. And of course, you can trim any of these really wild fibers off with your scissors. Now, to enhance this durability, this fly could use a little head cement. And here I'm using Sally Hansen's Hard as Nails, just putting a couple of small drops on the thread head of the fly. And there you have it, the laser bugger, a quick and easy pattern to tie that is very effective for trout, panfish, and any number of species.